go into your body will cause some damage in these epithelial cells. And then you need to have a good system to protect it, to protect yourself. Your immune system need to be good, so we'll be able to get rid of these. So we talked about the cell cycle already. The cell cycle clock has a G1S, G2M progression. Okay? We talked about these at the time that there's a G1 checkpoint because the RB protein will be phosphorylated by cyclin CDK and then allow the gate open once the cell is ready to go to the DNA synthesis. So then go to the G2M. Okay, there's a checkpoint here again to make sure that all the DNA has been replicated before they can go into the mitosis, the checkpoint. And we talk about a lot of metaphase checkpoint. We talk about spindle fiber assembly checkpoint. All the chromosomes need to be aligned well. All the spindle fiber have to be correctly attached to the chromosome. And then see, such an important process. It's very important to maintain the cell's genome integrity. And then here I want to mention to you the checkpoint is such an important control. I think in this control area, no Nobel Prize has been given yet. Okay, so maybe you and I still have the opportunity to get. Okay, we talk about two aspects: the cell cycle, Nobel Prize already given to. And we talk about the ubiquitination, Nobel Prize already given to the ubiquitination study. But the checkpoint control, so far, not yet. Okay? So we still have the opportunity. Okay? So basically, as we talk about the growth factor inside the tissue, or inside the, in the tissue contact, there's a lot of growth factor. The cell has a growth factor receptor. They receive the signal. The cells start growing. Okay? The cells start growing, and they will regulate cyclin CDK, and then cyclin CDK phosphorate on RB, causing the RB to release the E2F, and then E2F will help the transcriptional activity to transcribe the gene involved in G1S progression. So that's for the accelerator. We talked about the brake. Okay, we talked about the E4A locus, the P15, P16, P18, P19. They involve in regulating cyclin DCDK4 activity. And then another locus here, in this E4A locus, there's another important tumor suppressor gene called P19R. Okay, stand for alternative reading frame. Okay, if you pay attention to, you may be able to find out that this is actually a very important tumor suppressor gene. If you want to give the ranking of all the tumor suppressor genes, we would say P53 is the number one, but the E4A locus is the number two tumor suppressor gene. And then off will be able to stop the MDM2 activity. Okay? And then sort of stabilize PDD3, and then again, PDD3 will do several things, including P21. We talk about the TGF beta briefly, about using the SMAD, transcriptional activator, to regulate P27, and in that case also regulate P57, causing cell cycle arrest. Today we're going to focus a little bit on here, the DNA damage response. Okay? Being regulated by several important molecules in that area. ATM, ATR, important kinase for that process. ATM, ATR will be able to phosphorate on PPD3, stabilize PPD3. Okay? And this process makes sure the PPD3 control the cell cycle, arrest, and then we'll have enough time to do the DNA repair. Okay, we talk about that. DNA damage response, cell cycle will be arrested, and then we'll have enough time to do the cell cycle repair, the DNA damage repair. So here, we talk about ionizing radiation, okay? It actually, a lot of molecules involved in this process to make sure DNA could be repaired. Okay? You see, there's a PBD3, 53BP1, gamma H2X, MDC1, BRCA1, MIE11, MDS1, Rep50, ATM. It almost make you feel dizzy already, right? But it's an important process because it's so critical to make sure the PBD3 got activated, and then we'll be able to regulate P21, 43 sigma, TADD45 because of G2M arrest. PBD3 was able to cause P21 to cause G1 arrest, okay? And then this process also activated the important kinase such as a checkpoint kinase. We mentioned a lot about the PLK, the polo-like kinase. And then another type of the DNA damage, such as UV, okay, you go to the sun, there's a UV, or they were causing the another type of DNA damage, and then check1 will be activated. Check1 regulates CDC25. Okay? This is important phosphatase. Remove the inhibitory phosphate on CDK. Remember, serine 14 and tyrosine 15. The important phosphatase to remove that inhibitory phosphate, so the cyclic CDK become activated, and then they will be able to regulate the G2M progression. But by blocking the CDC25 activity, the cell cycle will be arrested. Okay? So you see, quite a few very complicated network is involved for such an important process. The first thing I wanted to introduce to you is the DNA damage response will recruit important protein for that DNA repair process. Okay? The DNA damage, there's a sensor, the ATM will be activated. Gamma H2X 53BP1 BRCA1, we'll talk about that in a little bit detail. And the MIE11, Rep50, MBS1, these will help the cell have the sensor to sense the DNA damage. Okay? And then there's other type of a stall replication. Okay? They will have these different other type of the regulator being activated, including ATR, to regulate that process. The process has become, here, just give a quick view about ATM is activated, and then in turn, it will phosphorate a checkpoint kinase on this particular residue. This checkpoint kinase had a lot of cascade as well. It will be able to regulate many different kinds of substrate, including CDC25, including P53, including PML, including E2F1, including BRCA1. And everyone has certain kind of responsibility, causing the S-phase checkpoint, G1S checkpoint, causing the apoptosis, causing DNA repairs. Okay. Check 1, just like check 2, was activated maybe through DNA double-strand break or the replication stress. Okay. There's a check 1 being activated through these phosphorylation event, and then it will regulate again quite a few packets, including CDC25A, 25C, PLK, all these to involve in S-phase checkpoint, G2M checkpoint, chromatin remodeling, etc. So just give you a flavor about DNA damage response. It listed so many proteins involved in this process. Okay. Here, we iterate again, how big is the ATM? Okay? ATM is a huge protein, about 3,000 amino acids. Okay? There's a kinase domain here, ATR, a little bit smaller, but again, it's a huge amino acid, about 2,600 amino acids. Has the kinase domain here. The DNA double-strand breaker could activate both kinase, And then most kinase has either activate check 1 or check 2. Okay? Check 2 in turn, we talked about that in the in the slide before. That check 2 will cause the phosphorylation of these residue on PBD3. And then serine 15 or serine 20. Make sure PBD3 will no longer bind to MDM2. And then these PBD3 will become stabilized, will have accumulation, and be able to transcription activate the gene involved in G1 arrest. We talk about that in 1433 sigma, in P21, etc. We'll have a gene involved in apoptosis, such as a PUMA, such as other gene involved in apoptosis. Okay. Very complicated process. Okay. This checkpoint has been used for chemotherapy drug design. Okay. As you know, we apply the chemotherapy drug to the cancer cell, hopefully causing the DNA damage, right? And we don't want the cancer cell have the capability to do the repair, because the cancer cell have the capability to do the repair, our drug become useless. Okay? So there has been drug designed to wipe out these checkpoint control. For example, the UACO1 or UCN01, okay? This particular is a checkpoint inhibitor. So they will be designed to wipe out that checkpoint control pathway, help the drug, the chemotherapy drug be much more efficient. But I want to point out to you, if you drink a lot of coffee, okay, although the amount of coffee you drink is not enough to inhibit these kinases, but caffeine has been used to inhibit the ATM. Okay? It's a very important inhibitor of ATM kinase. Okay? Although the coffee, if you are a coffee drinker, you don't have, you don't reach that kind of a concentration to inhibit the ATM yet. But caffeine has the capability to inhibit the ATM. Just to let you know. The cells, the checkpoint control system not only happen in human, okay? Yeast has it, the frog has it, Juniper is the frog. Saccharomyces cerevisiae and Saccharomyces pombe, they all have a very similar DNA damage control system, just like our human being. And sometimes these genes are very conserved, genetic conserved. For example, in yeast, you have this red line. It's almost similar like a black one, okay? And then in the frog system, a very similar organization. Okay? We have an ATM, we have mRNA complex, we have ATR, we have entry. The yeast has some very similar organization. So just let you know, because the DNA damage, it's always happening. Okay? And then even the small organisms like the yeast have the same system to maintain the genome integrity. Here, I want to introduce the mRNA complex. Okay. mRNA stands for MRE11, RAF50, and NBS1. Okay, in the next slide we will talk about that again. So basically, in the yeast it's called NBS1, they call XRX2. This is the yeast nomenclature. So you see the RAF50, MRE11, and they have a gene binding domain to hook up. So you can see this mRNA actually is just like important complex to stitch together the two broken arms of the DNA. Okay? And it's very important because, for example, this is a chromosome here, there's a bracket here, the mRNA complex will come by to stitch them together, and then another protein will come by to repair that process. That in yeast, let me give you a better view about the mRNA complex. mRNA, and I say, MRE11 is a 700 also amino acid protein. It's very interesting organization, okay, because this is original the name coming from a meiotic recombination. So that's you say that MIE11 is coming from Dharma nomenclature. RAF50, MBS1. MBS1 is a gene that has been happening in a very rare human genetic disease called Nijmegen Brockage syndrome. So that's the reason you get a name called MBS1. Okay? And you take a look at the motif or the on these proteins, they have a BRCT type of motif. They have MIE binding motif. For RAF50, they have these kind of coil structure, and then form a hook here. As you can see here, there's a Walker A here. This is a RAF50. The A is here, and then have these coil structure, and then form a hook with another RAF50. So it's very interesting organization, the capability to stitch the two broken DNA end together. You see MIE11 and MBS1 here. So the organization here is to help the two broken end of DNA damage. And these complex actually not just sitting there. They also continue to recruit a lot of protein involved in DNA damage response, including ATN, including MDC1, including gamma H2X. Okay, all these, have been happening in that DNA damaging site. Okay, let's take a look again. Okay, DNA strength, double strand break by ionizing radiation, causing the DNA double strand break. In one cases, they could go through these pathways to do the so-called non-homologous end joining for DNA repair. But these processes is very low fidelity. They are not very conservative. Okay, so these processes involving the several proteins, involving DNA PK, involving Q70, Q86. Has the ATP involved, has the Artemis SRCC4 ligase form to make sure the DNA will be repaired. Okay, but again, this is the so-called non-homologous end joining. Another pathway goes through these pathways through an mRNA complex will be able to repair much better. Okay, they could go through these pathways and then have the so-called homologous recombination end joining and make sure the DNA repair better. And then these processes are high fidelity and very conservative. Okay? Another pathway goes through this pathway here, but there are some restriction, limitation. Okay? But you get a sense that these mRNA complex involving the DNA damage repair is so critically regular, because I would like to show you again that these important protein was recruited to that site, including several important DNA damage sensors. mRNA is there, ATN got recruited, or ATN got activated. Okay? ATN is a kinase, okay? And the gamma H2X is the histone subunit. The MDC1, another sensor, okay? They have the capability to interact with several important DNA damage sensors. 53BP1, BRCA1. We talked about BRCA1 yesterday. Angelina Jolie, because herself and her family had a BRCA1 mutation for cancer prevention. He decided to have his breast removed to prevent cancer happen in her body. Okay. The BRCA1 is responsible for familial breast cancer. Okay. And the reason for that, because the BRCA1 defect will not be able to do the DNA damage repair. So she will have a high possibility to get cancer due to the genome integrity compromise. Here, the DNA damage response activate mRNA, the ATM will be activated. So the reason for ATM to activate, ATM is a dimer. Usually they are in active form. But because the conformation change of the DNA damage, ATM dimer become activated and they phosphorate each other, okay? On this particular residue called 1981 serum residue. Okay? This activation of an ATM in turn will phosphorate on many other proteins as well, including PBD3, including CHEK2, including H2AX. Okay? Here, just want to show you that ATM is required for that activation because with the DNA damage, okay, usually without DNA damage, ATM is not activated because based on the phosphorylation level, you couldn't see any of it. Right? See very little here. But if you treat them with the ionizing radiation, ATM get phosphorated, as you can see here. The 1981 serum residue got highly phosphorated due to the DNA damage. Okay? And this DNA damage has certain biological significance because it starts building all different layers of the recruitment to make sure the DNA being broken end has been taken care of. As you can see here, the DNA, okay, before it was damaged, just like this, and the DNA damage, the conformation changed. The ATM start activated. And then when they activated at the same time, the mRNA complex was recruited, tried to stitch together, tether together with the broken end of the DNA. And then during this process, again, mRNA was stimulated, ATM again. Okay? Once the ATM got activated, it will phosphorate the substrate, including gamma, H2X. So the first substrate being phosphorated, gamma H2X. Okay. Once gamma H2X is phosphorated, we'll recruit several important genes, including MDC1, including 53BP1, including BRCA1. Okay. So you see several layers start building up to help the DNA damage repair process. It's such a dedicated, quick response. Okay? And we'll talk about how this protein was recruited there after the DNA damage. Here, give you a sense. Once ATM got activated, we had all the cascade of substrate being activated. We already talked about CHEK2. There are some important red, the other protein involved in DNA damage result being phosphorated. We talked about MDM2 a little bit, but MDM2 indeed will be phosphorated. We talked about PBD3. Okay? PBD3 phosphorylation at the serum 15, S9, S46. PBD3 got phosphorated, do a lot of things, as we talked about. Need to activate P21, need to be activate gene involved in apoptosis, including PUMA, including NOXA. Okay. ATM activated CHEK2, ATM activated LKB1, CTL1, activated BRCA1, SMC1, MBS1. Make you feel easy, but be patient, all right? It's such an important process. If you understand one by one, each one, you know, these just one study could be, if you are go to the graduate school to do your PhD, each pathway could be a PhD thesis. Okay? So this just to give you a flavor how important the ATM activation plays such an important role for DNA damage response. Here, I would like to, again, using the experimental method to make you understand how ATM and the MBS1 they regulate each other, to help each other to or the mRNA complex to help the ATM activity. Okay? mRNA was recruited DNA double-strand break, and then at the same time they were activated ATM. Okay? The experiment was done here using the transfection of the ATM and then co-transferring the mRNA. Okay? And then using the CHEK2 as a substrate. Find out, CHEK2, as we mentioned, is the ATM substrate. Okay? ATM or phosphorylation on this particular residue on CHEK2. With the ATM, with the mRNA, CHEK2 got phosphorated nicely, and then this is dose-dependent manner. Because the more mRNA you have, the ATM activity is got activated. Without ATM, CHEK2 is not phosphorated. This is a negative control. And the ATM also, if you have a more, you see that again, more ATM with an mRNA will